I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight to the oath or affirmation of the office for our new council. Members of the public are advised that the meeting will be live streamed and recorded, and the live stream video recording will be made publicly available on YouTube and on council's website. I'd firstly like to commence the meeting with an acknowledgement of country. Nillumbik Shire Council respectfully acknowledges the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung as people as the traditional owners of the country on which Nillumbik is located. We value the significance of the Wurundjeri people's history as essential to the unique character of the Shire. We pay tribute to all First Nations people living in Nillumbik, give respect to elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to all First Nations people. We respect the enduring strength of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung and acknowledge the ongoing impacts of past trauma and injustices from colonial invasion, massacres and genocide committed against First Nation people. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people hold a deep and ongoing connection to the place. We value their distinct place of our First Nations people in both Nillumbik and Australia's identity, for their cultural heritage and care of the land and waterways, to ongoing contributions in many fields including academia, agriculture, art, economics, law, sport and politics. Apologies. As all elected representatives are present for the meeting, there are no apologies. So now I'd like to invite the councillors to come forward based on their ward. So I'd invite the councillor for the Blue Lake ward, Grant Brooker, to the dais, please.
I haven't got the... Thank you. That's the code of conduct. Not the oath. Okay, we got there. Okay, I, Grant Brooker, swear by Almighty God that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the Model Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the Model Councillor Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 and any other act to the best of my skill and judgment.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. If you'd like to say a few words.
Yes, well look, get comfortable everybody. You may as well start as you mean to go on. Look, when you lose an election, it's always a tough loss, and 2020 was a particularly tough loss. That said, 2024 is a very, very humbling, is so humbling. I feel incredibly fortunate to be here this afternoon. Just a word to all the candidates who were unsuccessful. Thank you for not sitting it out. Our council and our community is a more robust place because of your participation. In 4 short years, you may be sitting here in front of a microphone. I am. I firstly want to thank the team that supported me. When you have the best team, winning is certainly a more likely prospect, and I was playing on the best team. So thank you, Tim Fleet, for dragging me kicking and screaming into the Facebook era. Kelly Farrow for your property for my signage, Svetlana Rizak who was the catalyst for the forming of Friends of Apollo Parkways, Carol Doherty, Mark McKenzie, all of the originals, their personal support over the years, and the rest of the membership, their friendship has meant a great deal to me. Diane, my wife, thank you so much for your support. 4 years will change her life when it's probably the least favourite thing she would like to do. I also need to thank the voters of Blue Lake Ward. Thank you so much. You have given me an absolute gift, not once but now twice. I will treasure it and give my absolute all to be worthy of your trust and support. Some comments about community. Community is for me trying to find common values, common aspirations, common purposes, common goals, common interests. When you find that sweet spot of values, aspirations, purposes, goals and interests, you have that lightning in a bottle. You truly have the unity part of that word. So common plus unity, community, that is where the council and I will strive to be in the next 4 years. It is never easy, it is never simple, but it is always worth trying. Realistically, it is unlikely that we will achieve it on every or maybe any occasion. The challenge for all councillors is to find that common ground. There will be times to stand your ground. Navigating those polar opposites is where all councillors will be tested. Community is a powerful force when you have it, and ironically, an even more powerful force when you don't. Blue Lake is an amalgam of so many diverse areas. We have urban areas, green wedge zones, a gorge with picnic spots, retirement villages, Christian and Coptic churches, public and private schools, football, cricket, hockey and tennis clubs, the Diamond Valley Sports and Fitness Centre, parks, shared paths, up at Yarrambat Park, a golf club, an eclectic mix of a historical society, archery club, model aeroplane, pony clubs. You throw in shopping centres, cafes and friends groups. Right there we have a community where there is space for everyone to be included, everyone to be valued, everyone to find their niche, to find genuine connections with their communities of interest. And finding that niche, that will strengthen us all. Council can assist all those groups and places and spaces, that without which we have loneliness, we have social isolation, so all those things are very rare. Make no mistake, the symptoms of a community where people are not connected to each other is graffiti, vandalism, petty crime, because people feel anonymous, alienated and alone. Councils have the capacity to overcome those scourges with some often modest investments, so our community is truly looking out for each other, not just, for instance, in a time of a natural disaster, but in all times. I would say a lot of people have asked me, what do I like about being a councillor? And I think what they're really saying is, why on earth would you want to do this job? I think that's what they're really trying to get at. And I think, I recall a story in 2016, I'm a newly elected councillor. I go down to the Eltham District woodworkers who were looking for some support. And when you're a councillor, you'll soon interpret looking for support means looking for some money for an extension and for a dust extraction system. The day before, a refugee, a Syrian refugee who had just recently been put at Juddbrook Village in Eltham, had come and wanted to join the club because he owned a woodwork factory in Syria. And so he was welcomed with open arms by the Eltham District Woodworkers Club. And so not only was that a good thing for him as a new migrant to the country, a new place he didn't know too much about, it was a great thing for the Eltham District Woodworkers Club to be able to embrace him, bring him into their little area of enthusiasm that they share. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. I'd now like to invite the Councillor for the Bunjil ward, Councillor Naomi Joyner, to the dais.
I, Naomi Joyner, solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that I will undertake the duties of the Office of Councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the Model Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the Model Councillor Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 and any other act to the best of my skill and judgment.
Now I invite you to speak.
Thank you. I am truly humbled and excited to have been elected as the new councillor for Bunjil Ward. I can't thank the community enough for their support and trust in me to represent them in this wonderful place where we live. I have lived in Bunjil Ward for 33 years of my life. I moved away for a time but wound up back here. Chose to raise our kids back here because we choose to live out here for a reason. We love this place for a reason. And that reason is not for concrete and it's not for tiny backyards. It's the trees, the animals, the fresh air, and the like-minded individuals that want to keep this place as beautiful and protected as possible. We live in this green wedge for a reason, so let's protect it. There is so much to accomplish, but my key focus areas will be supporting kindergartens, improving our sporting facilities, protecting our wildlife and environment, seeking more sustainable ways of living, including alternate energy, and advocating for more bus connections in our rural areas to support our youth and the elderly and get some cars off the road whilst we're at it. I am here to represent you, the community, and so I'm keen to hear from you and understand how we can improve services at council to especially benefit those in the community that have been missing out. Thank you so much to my husband, Andrew Sutherland, my children, my parents and family and friends, my team of volunteers that supported me with amazing advice, grunt work, emotional support, and all the many and varied things that are involved in campaigning. You were all so invaluable and I truly appreciate everything you have done for me. I promise to collaborate with you all and the community groups that care deeply about Nillumbik and devote their time as volunteers to various causes. I'd like to congratulate the other councillors present today. We have a wonderful opportunity to achieve great things for our community, and I look forward to working alongside you and the team of officers at Nillumbik Council. To the candidates that weren't elected, thank you for your efforts, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Joyner. I'd now like to invite the councillor for the Edendale ward, Councillor Kelly Joy, to the dais.
Thank you. I, Kelly Joy, solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that I will undertake the duties of the Office of Councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the Model Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the Model Councillor Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 and any other act to the best of my skill and judgment.
And I now invite you, Councillor Joy, to speak.
Thank you. I've prepared a few words. Well, here we are. Just over 6 months ago, the notion of me becoming councillor was a little more than, hey, I think there's an election on this year. Perhaps I'll give that a crack. And now, well, here I stand. As a career public servant, I've always been motivated to serve the community. I find great satisfaction in the delivery of projects and policies that positively impact environmental and human health. I'm passionate about improving the lifestyle and well-being of our community and believe my professional skills and experience will be an asset to Nillumbik. There is much that I do not yet know, but at this stage, my priorities are infrastructure and services that support healthy, active living for all ages and abilities. This includes improvements to the trails, public transport, bike lanes, access to local homegrown produce, dog parks, aged care and kinder. Sensible development in keeping with the local character and the green wedge. This includes balancing the need for more homes with existing precinct characteristics, the urban tree canopy and biodiversity objectives, and associated infrastructure to meet population growth. And long-term strategic planning, good governance and effective spending. And most importantly, getting to know the community better and gaining a better understanding of how I may best be of service to the people of Edendale and Nillumbik now and into the future. In giving thanks, firstly, I must thank the people of Edendale. Thank you for entrusting me with this responsibility. It's an honour to be elected and to take the affirmation this evening. And of course, endless thanks to my wonderful husband, Steve, for whom my every wish is his command. My daughter, Annalise, for keeping me humble and also being super impressed that my name will be engraved on this wall. And to our family and friends who have supported my campaign. I would like to thank Karen Egan, previous councillor for Bunjil Ward. Having not previously met, Karen kindly responded to my email earlier this year and has shared her wisdom, helping me with my decision to run and throughout my campaign, especially in dealing with the, let's say, more challenging aspects of being a public figure. I would also like to acknowledge the candidates on the ballot for Edendale Ward. The Green candidate. They say it's not easy being green, and I imagine it's not easy being a runner-up either. And my fellow independent candidates, Andrew Bakos and Michael Scalacci. My hope is that all political candidates could experience the camaraderie within the competition that we shared over the past few months. A couple of top blokes. And I would like to congratulate my fellow councillors and councillors-elect. We now commit to working together for the next 4 years, along with council executive and staff. I look forward to getting to know you and working constructively with you throughout our term together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Joy. I'd now like to invite the councillor for Alice Ward, Councillor Peter Perkins, to the dais.
Oh, thanks, Vince. I, Peter Perkins, swear by Almighty God that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the model code of conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the model councillor code of conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under Local Government Act 2020 and any other act to the best of my skill and judgment.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. I now invite you to speak.
Thank you. I won't keep you long. I'll go nowhere near Grant, who's set the world record in terms of my time, 5 minutes and 30. Well done. We'll certainly be hearing much more of Grant, I think, over the next 4 years. Certainly a very, very active community person, and as is this council. I think it's fair to say it's hopefully going to be the best council I've served with. They're all community people, all have community right behind them, and demonstrated a really, really good work ethic already in the community. So it's going to be fun. So I'd like to thank my community that elected me once again. To be honest, I had a bit of a holiday during the campaign period. It didn't do much campaigning, and I was fortunate that my competition weren't really there. So although interestingly, more people voted for somebody else than me, I got in on preferences. So congratulations all to other councillors and other councillor-elect. I hope you enjoy it. I certainly did struggle very early on in my council career as a councillor. The amount of work that was forced upon me early days, I wasn't sure that it was right for me at the time, but it is worth hanging in there. You will find your feet, even though very early on, I think it's fair to say it might be a bit overwhelming. It does get easier, and if you do a subsequent term and keep going, I think it gets easier all the way through. You sort of work out where to spend your time most efficiently, and it can be a really, really enjoyable endeavour, of being a councillor. And I think the best thing is that to get some of those wins on the board, it doesn't happen in the first year, it doesn't happen in the first 10 years, but, after 15 years, you can look back and sort of think, well, there has been a bit achieved. And a lot of people sort of think, well, council just rolls on without council, and what do councillors do? But you will know when you look back on your time in council, even after 4 years, that there were things that will happen in the community that would not have happened otherwise if it wasn't for your individual input. So I think it is very gratifying. It can be very frustrating as well, but I certainly wouldn't keep doing it if I didn't enjoy it. So it's a great thing to do. The staff is fantastic. I think we're very, very lucky. We're very, very well supported by staff. And I think the key also is to not just work well with the community, but also work well with staff. Respect that they've got a job. You won't always get the answers you want, or the responses you want from staff. Things that we might think is a good idea, maybe I'm not practical, or there's no budget for, or no prospect of finding a budget for it. Following your gut, I think that's one thing I've always done. It's always served me well. So yeah, good things do happen eventually. Very, very happy to be elected on the council once again. I'm Alice Ward, which is probably 2/3 of Diamond Creek, and look for the support from Callie in particular, who's also helping to represent Diamond Creek and Eltham North. But I'm sure we'll work very, very well as a whole council and have some great wins on the board, and look back in 4 years' time and look back on it, with a great deal of pride. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. I'd now like to invite the Councillor for the Sugar Life World, Councillor King-Cope, to the dais.
I, Kim Cope, sincerely and solemnly declare and affirm that I undertake the duties of that office of council in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the Model Council Code of Conduct, uphold the standards of conduct set out in the Model Council Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 and any other act to the best of my skill and judgment.
I now invite you to talk, Councillor Cope.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone attending here today. Thank you to Nillumbik Council giving this opportunity to me. Thank you to the Sugar Life voters and residents who have voted my way. I plan to work collaboratively and consensually with the rest of our council members and the Council of Nillumbik. It's been a meteoric rise for me on this one, so I don't have a speech prepared. Haven't even thought about it when I arrived here because I didn't know I had to give one. But I'm certainly proud to be in this position and to be able to do my best for the Nillumbik area and all the residents and all the what I call the owners and the Green Wedge, the animal life here, the clubs and societies, etc. And I'll do my best for all of them. The earlier council's speeches before me pretty well said it all, so I don't want to repeat it all. Graham's speech was fabulous. It said it all for me, so I don't need to say it again. And the next speech will probably add more to it. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'll sit down and stop speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cope. I'd now like to invite the councillor for the Swipers Gully ward. Councillor Kate McKay.
Hello. I, Kate McKay, solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that I will undertake the duties of the Office of Councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the Model Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the Model Councillor Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 and any other act to the best of my skill and judgment. Thank you.
I now invite you to talk, Councillor McKay.
Thank you. I have prepared a very brief and last-minute speech also. I just want to thank you all for coming. I love where I live and I look forward to advocating and representing the residents of Swipers Gully and Nillumbik with pride. I'm ready to work and advocate for my community and environment where we live. I'm looking forward to meeting with and listening to residents and community groups so that we can all work together. Small changes and improvements made at council level can have a big impact on the people that live in this area, and I'm excited to see the changes made by this council that I'm on to improve the everyday lives and residents of Nillumbik. I'd like to sincerely thank the voters of Swipers Gully for electing me to fulfil this honourable role. Thank you to the many friends and volunteers. I certainly underestimated what it took to run a smallish campaign, I thought, but I am eternally grateful for you for helping me have this opportunity. And special thanks to my family, my husband and my young children who have been great cheerleaders and supports. Thank you very much, and congratulations to my fellow councillors. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. I'd now like to invite the councillor for the Wingrove ward, Councillor John Demerick, to the dais.
I, John Demerick, solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that I will undertake the duties of the office of a councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. I will abide by the Model Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of the Code of Conduct set out in the Model Councillor Code of Conduct. I will faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 2020 and other acts to the best of my skill and judgment. Welcome everyone tonight. Good to see some familiar faces in the gallery. So great to have people along. I think it's very important that council is held in public and is seen by the public. So thank you very much for making the effort to come along and be part of the community. First of all, I'd like to thank the people of Wingrove for the opportunity to represent them. I would like to thank my partner Tracy and Rose over there for their support throughout this whole campaign. They have been out sort of letterboxing and putting up with meetings and all sorts of hours, so thank you very much, guys. I'd like to thank the team that got behind me from Wingrove and the people who put up posters, went out letterboxing, helped, and for all the people who got back to me when we did ask for surveys and those type of things. Really appreciate the support that has been put in through the community. I'd like to congratulate my fellow councillors on their election and look forward to working cooperatively with you all. And I'm looking forward to working with the officers, as I think Councillor Perkins pointed out. Fantastic bunch of officers here. There's a lot of talent, and we need to work really closely with them. And I think one of the most important things I learnt from my first time on council in the training was I was ex-CEO of Darab and said, don't spend too much time at council. These people already know all of this sort of stuff. What they don't know about is what the community thinks about what they're doing. So spend your time out in the community and bring that back to council. So I think they were very sound words. The things I sort of would like to see us achieve and look at during the council term is really nail down the housing strategy, nail down the neighbourhood character strategy. We need to be aware of the imposition that state government is looking to put on different council areas, and we need to be sure that that it's not a knee-jerk reaction, that we are, if we are to expand the number of households in the area, that it is safe to do so, that we understand how that affects our emergency plans and the infrastructure that we do have. I'd like us to get serious about protection of the green wedge, our biodiversity strategy, and really do our part for climate change. Emergency plans, last time I was on council, we concentrated very heavily on fire, and I said at the time, what happens if we ever have a pandemic? And everyone laughed. But 2 years later, we had a pandemic. So, I think they're the sort of things council really needs to have nailed down, and you don't know when you need them. A lot of the policies and a lot of the things council do is what happens in an emergency, what happens when the community really needs you, and that's the stuff we really need to make sure we do have. It's and as I said, I'm really keen to work with the rest of the councillor group and the officers just to make Wingrove and Nillumbik a better place to live, and we'll do that incrementally, one decision at a time, just keep moving the thing forward. So thank you all very much, and look forward to catching up with you at supper.
Thank you, Councillor Demerick. I'd now like to take this opportunity to congratulate you all as you are elected councillors of Nillumbik. We look forward to working with you, achieving great things over the term. And one more round of applause for the newly elected councillors. I'd like to thank everyone for attending the meeting. I would now like to declare these proceedings closed at 5:34 p.m.